Hi, very good afternoon. A warm welcome to all the audience on the second day of 23rd World Education Summit Higher Education. It's a 3 days event that started from yesterday, 24th of March, and it will wrap up by the 26th of March. So, we are on the second panel discussion with a yet more important topic that is transforming the higher education current scenarios. The topic of discussion of this is rise of massive online open courses roadmap ahead. To discuss and deliberate on this particular topic, I would like to invite the speakers of this session. So first of all, I would like to invite Professor Mahesh Chandra Govil, Director, National Institute of Technology, Sikkim. Welcome, Mahesh sir. Welcome to the World Education Summit. Thank you for giving
You.
your precious time to us. I would like to welcome Dr. Siddharth Dure, Vice Chancellor, Vishwakarma University, Pune, Maharashtra. Welcome, Dr. Siddharth, sir. Welcome to the World Education Summit. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving us opportunity. I would like to welcome Dr. Sujata Sahi, Vice Chancellor, IILM University, Gurugram, Haryana. Thank you, Sujata, ma'am. Thank you very much for giving your precious time to us. I would like to welcome Professor Raghubir Singh, Vice Chancellor, Tirthankar Mahavir University, Moradabad, Uttar Pradesh. Thank you,
Thank you.
Raghubir,
Thank
sir.
you, Abhishek.
Thank you for
Always a
accepting
pleasure.
our invitation, sir.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
would like to welcome Professor Dr. A.K. Bakshi, Vice Chancellor, PDM University, Bahadurgarh, Haryana. Thank you, Bakshi Saab. Thank you for
Thank you.
accepting our invitation and giving precious time. Like to welcome Dr. Parag Sanghvi, Provost, PP Savani University, Surat, Gujarat. Welcome, Dr. Paragji, and I request if you can put on your camera so that audience can watch you live also. And I would like to welcome Dr. Vikas Dhawan, Pro Vice Chancellor, Sri Guru Gobind Singh Tirthankar University, Gurugram, Haryana. Thank you, Vikas sir. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation and giving your precious time to us.
Very good
So
afternoon.
we would like to start this session with the opening remarks regarding what transformation they are seeing regarding this topic, how they are thinking this topic is going to change the higher education system, what the campuses are doing right now in this open, blended, or hybrid situation, how they are dealing it. So I will start with Mahesh Chand sir to give their opening remarks in 2 to 3 minutes so that we can come to the discussion part second also.
Okay, thank you, Abhishek. And I believe this is really very important topic, right? Especially higher education sector, and if because we belongs to technical education, and it is more pertinent to the technical institutions. As far as the online teaching is concerned, we have experienced in last 2 years, right? And I think we all have been trained well. That is one part of the, you can say, the digitization of the education. But on the other part, which we I think is the topic of the day, is the rise of massive open online courses. So we have to look at the both the fronts. One part, it is necessary in the present scenario, because there are many advantages. You can share your resources, you can invite the experts from the outside as well as the other universities. So you can say the family of the experts and the teaching community is becoming global. So that is a very you can see the essential part of education, and you can harness the expertise available in the various domains. And we have also invited some of the people from the different IITs, NITs, and taking courses online, and that has become really the possible with the, you can say, this massive online open courses. The most important part of this, of course, the face-to-face teaching learning is also important. And I always believe that we have to go for a blended mode of learning. We can use these massive online courses also, and the teacher has to judiciously decide from where he or she has to taught. So now lots of content is available on the net, and you can see the in the various domains also. So now deciding what is good, what is not good for the student is becoming really concern, because at times the students are not able to really uh, decide from which course or from where source they should study, so that their fundamentals get cleared. And right, so one, I think, I believe we have to provide some sort of guidance to the students so that they can choose these courses judiciously and can get benefited. There is no doubt on this online availability of the online courses, especially for the rural India, is very important. Only thing we have to ensure the connectivity should be proper, because as we all know, the bandwidth is an issue, and in the internet availability in the rural areas and remote areas is a really a bottleneck till today. And we have to contribute massively in the development of the content and the delivery of the content. That is another part of it. So I believe this is important, that the courses can be made available to the students, but at the same time teaching in the classes and designing the assignments, and then guiding them how to solve those assignments, because we always believe problem solving attitude is something which is missing from our student community, and that has to be inbuilt. And we talk about the teamwork, we talk about the creativity, we talk about the innovations, right? And then the cooperative learning and so many things. So massive online course is good. We can get advantage of the SY, as I said, but at the same time, I believe we have to go into maybe classroom teaching also, where I can use some part of the courses available, but I have to augment judiciously, so that my class can understand, because we all know the class consists of the variety of students. Some of them are very intelligent, some of them are average, and some of them are really below average. So that is another question, right? Whether the students are able to follow what is available uh, in the online open courses. So I believe some sort of guidance, some sort of help is always required to the students. And there is no doubt that we can make use of these courses, and we can make small, sometimes I feel especially in engineering, we can make small movies, and or you can say these some uh, videos where I can show the complicated machines, and I can show the other operational part, which is at times is difficult to draw on the board or to explain to the students. So these courses are going to help us in a big way and delivering the classes. That is my opinion, and I believe with this, I think can give chance to other
Sure.
panelists.
Thanks, Govind sir. Thank you for this wonderful opening remarks. And we will discuss further regarding the continuity and the awareness of the massive open line, open courses. So I would like to invite Dr. Sujata Sai ma'am to give her opening remarks on this particular topic and what her thoughts regarding the continuity and the challenges in this massive open online open courses. Sujata ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Abhishek and Elets Digital Learning for creating this platform with such an eminent personalities to deliberate on massive online education and learning. Even our education policy, new education policy, has also reinforced the importance of online education, and certain initiatives are being taken in this area, like online teaching platforms, tools, virtual labs, and blended mode of learning. I think personally, online education is not a new concept internationally, as international universities have provided executive education in online mode with a purpose to create brand or international reach. But during this lockdown, our previous speaker also said, or due to any unprecedented situation, we have also realized that we can redefine our education system and adopt online education to reach to the youth across India. This is an ideal time to experiment and deploy new tools to make education delivery meaningful to students who cannot go to campuses. Online education is the growing face of the education system. I would like to share a data recently I read. According to Bangalore-based market research, RedSir, online is showing exponential growth in India. The online higher education market alone is expected to grow from 90 million individuals in financial year 20 to 133 million individuals in financial year 25. I just would like to say here the way we shifted during lockdown on online mode. that had given us a complete experience to design our curriculum differently, to use certain tools to make class delivery effective and class engagement more efficient. We used certain tools like design changed our curriculum in synchronous and asynchronous mode, where students have chance to read or learn on their own pace. This is one benefit which I personally perceive. One is adult education, the online education reaches there. Second, the slow learner, they have chance through online learning to learn on their own pace. So this is one advantage. We have certain disadvantages also, later we'll discuss. But now this is the demand and this is the new way in our education system. But certain challenges we have. Training of our teachers are required to handle situation in online mode. And our professor said, because he is from NIT, most of the part are linked with labs and practical. In our university is like few of courses have more practical, few courses management has such some experiential learning. What we designed certain virtual labs for design school, and we created videos of each lecture. One thing is recording on your technological tool. You have Zoom and Microsoft, you can record your lecture and upload. But what we did, we designed certain courses like MOOCs, like SWAM, so that can be given to the students so they can learn on their own pace. Challenges which we faced here, being in Gurgaon, the internet connectivity of students from remote areas. That was the big challenge, but we tried to solve. But ultimately, I'm thinking that this is the new way of education where we can provide a blended learning. We can't rely only on online, or we can't rely only on brick and mortars setup. So we have to combine, and with the help of academicians on this kind of platform, we can deliberate how to make this education system more productive and more useful. Even
Thank,
I'm willing to listen from others,
sure.
so I'm
Thanks,
not taking
Sujata
much of.
ma'am. Thanks for this wonderful opening remarks. And we will discuss further, ma'am, how we will bridge this digital gap, because as Google also told that connectivity is major issue. All things are okay, but how we will create the awareness and bridge this digital gap, we will discuss in second discussion. So by
Because
this,
one thing, Abhishek, we can't restrict in university system students from only urban area. We have students across the country and from remote areas also.
uh, yes, ma'am. So I would like to invite Dr. Siddharth sir also for his opening remarks regarding this topic and what his thoughts regarding the government perspective also, because government is much more focusing on this domain in this budget also, and they are planning to open new channels, new modes, new investment. So what's Dr. Siddharth's take on it?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Abhishek. And it's always a privilege to be with the esteemed panelists. Point number one, as we see here, is this digitalization. We are in the digitalization age. And when we look at this entire MOOCs and online education, we are very much part of it. And we have to embrace this because this is the digitalization process and the technology. And because we are very much part of it, we have to accept it, we have to embrace it. Point number two, uh, we also have to remember that we are dealing with the millennials who are our students, and they are called digital natives. Many of us can be digital immigrants or digital even migrants. So these are the kids who are born with the mobile phones in hand, and they have great uh, ability to use this digital content, consume it, access it very efficiently. So we are dealing with them. Point number three here is this MOOCs and all those, these are technology interventions that have reached homes and that has created an ability to consume the content to anyone, anytime and anywhere. And this is how the next point I want to say is in brick and mortar, we teach in the classroom, which is very essential and there cannot be any replacement. because what is taught are the concepts, understanding of the concepts and the applications. And these MOOCs and online can be complemented, or that can enable or nourish it, or rather enrich it. That can be with the students beyond classroom. So in a way, they are there like a buddy or companion with them. And that's how the entire outcome of the education, outcome of that subject, course outcome, can be well enhanced, when well enriched through this technology intervention. Now, this entire digitalization part in the budget also, it is very well encouraged and part. The question is, how do we prepare ourselves and how do we prepare our students? So what we did at Vishwakarma University, we have a, of course, separate center for teaching learning, and that's where we have this from based on the last 2 years experience. And now moving forward, how can we use these technology interventions to enhance the course outcome of a students? A, B, how can we individualize the teaching learning experience because of the technology intervention? Correct. And C is very important. What is it that student wants? So we have done the entire survey in last 2 years. In that time also, regarding what is the ability of students to consume bandwidth all, and right now also, and based on that, what is the golden path way forward, which could be the brick and mortar in class, and also supplemented by this online, as well as use of very effective use of MOOCs, is the model that we have worked, which is maybe blended hybrid, and in the context of the students, because it is not important that what we want or what the technology platform wants. The most important part here is the focal point, or the pivot, or the focus is the students, what student want, and how are they going to accept it, and how are they going to use it in a most effective manner to achieve our entire part. So this digitalization, again, last point here, and we have created this entire, right from the LMS, learning management system, up to this, using the design thinking method, because in design thinking we have to have the empathy with the end user. And the first is the student is the end user, and second is our faculty, who are the enabling part. They are the one, and that's how we are moving forward. And of course, encouragement from the government regarding the digitalization push is very, very motivating. And that's where we see that we can really create great value in the life of the student. Correct.
Thanks, Dr.
However,
Siddharth sir.
yeah,
Yes,
thank you
sir.
so much.
Thanks, Dr. Siddharth sir, for the wonderful opening remarks. And we will discuss further that what student wants and what kind of Siddharth sir have you researched from your institution, that how you will enhance regarding the students' need and demands according to current situation. Moving to further, I would like to invite Professor Raghuveer Singh to share his opening remarks and my further take on the quote of Sujata ma'am, that Sujata ma'am told that MOOC is not a new thing. It is just what exposed in this last 2 3 years. So, what is your take, Raghuveer ji? Raghuveer sir, is it going to be exponential rise, or you should say take it like a stay in this kind of physical situation? Raghuveer sir, over to you.
Thank you, Abhishek, and namaskar to everybody.
Namaskar sir.
To start with, let me share with you that for last 2 years we have been actually having these essentially 6 credit courses for our students, and these 6 credits are actually a part of our curriculum. And these three, MOOC platforms which I've been using is Coursera, SWAM, and NPTEL. And we given freedom to the student. Either you earn the certificate from these platforms, or we would conduct your examinations. And we found that majority of the students wanted us to conduct the examination because it was a little cheaper for them. Because to study these programs from the platform, there was no cost. Therefore, they thought it is economical to do this way. And for last 2 years, we found no issues. Large number of students have been, getting those certificates. That's as far as how MOOCs is moving. And as Madam Sujata said, it's quite old. Let me say, almost about a decade old. MOOCs was already there. It has announced its arrival, no doubt, and more so Now we talk more because it's for freshers. It was more important for old adult learners, because people from the corporate, they found it much more useful for them rather than the youngsters. Right, but I want to go a little more towards in the fundamentals of education. Where does it actually finds its place? I have a number of questions. Why we need to use MOOCs? Is it a basic purpose? Kya hai? How is it aligned to the education philosophy of individual institutions? And how does it fit into the millennial learners? Yeah, the last question could be: does it align with the future of education? That how the education in future would shape, and what domain of education will this fulfill? These are some of the questions which are there in my mind. So when I look at the holistic education, those three important domains called cognitive, affective, and psychomotor skills. I find MOOC can help us more so on cognitive aspect, and that too on a lower level learning. As of now, we don't have any interactive system where a student can develop higher order thinking. As of now, in future it might happen. So what I could say, that those three important things which you get from education, that is knowledge, intelligence, and wisdom. This is able to fulfill the knowledge aspect, not intelligence as of now, and wisdom, of course, it's far from it, right? So when you look at skills, are much more difficult to get through the MOOC, right? So individually as universities, we have to find where do we put this spoke into. So individuals have to decide this. Now, another aspect which I look at, what is the future of education? Right? How the education future would shape? Will it fit into those demands of the education in the future? We would definitely like to have global-minded people in the future. That's the demand of the time. We would like to leverage technology in education as well as in industry. Like to have flexible schedules, flexible pace, personalization of education. That means it is has to be fit into the individual's requirement. And we need to have digital citizens in the future, and we got to have industry perspective in our education, no doubt about it. Crowdsourcing of knowledge would emerge in the future, right? And we would need international systems of learning, and above all we need to co-create education with the students. So now we can think what all are these aspects of future education MOOC can meet. Yeah, I'll share some of those benefits which MOOC could give it. It's definitely a self-directed learning, no doubt about it. It's meets those pedagogical aspects of learning. So what needs to be learned is decided by an individual. So you'll find the individual becomes far more responsible for his or her learning. His choices and voices actually takes over, and he develops personal learning network, through who all those people, partners, colleagues, mentors, professionals. All those things are developed through MOOCs. So now we can fit those cogs. Where do we actually belong? So I, as a learner, would develop goal directed behavior, because the responsibility of learning completely is under me. And above all, I diagnose myself learning. I formulate my own learning goals and strategies, and identify my own resources. And I only depend upon my teacher's guidance for my learning. And I implement my own strategies to learn and what I want to learn. And also at the same time, evaluate my learning. So that's a wonderful, behavior which a learner develops when he gets through self-directed learning, and he and she takes initiative. That's what is most required as a learner or as a human being. And such people are self-seekers and growth-minded. So when I look at the personal front, MOOCs give a lot of advantages, right? Yes, as we say, everything has its own limitations, yes, MOOCs would have a great limitations in terms of developing those skills. But finally, I'll say it has arrived. It will stay here. It will be left to the individuals that how they want to use it. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhijit, sir. You have covered various aspects regarding the advantage and the challenges of MOOCs. So we will come in the second part of discussion regarding the part you have highlighted, knowledge, intelligence, and wisdom. Which level of MOOC is supporting to the students? We will discuss further, Abhijit, sir. We need more ideas. So I want to come to the next panelist, Dr. Vikas, sir, to share his opening remarks regarding this topic. So I request panelist Vikas sir to be in the short and brief so that we can move on to the second discussion also. Vikas sir, over to you.
Yeah, very good afternoon to all. I would first appreciate Professor Raghuvirji for highlighting the critical areas that are related to MOOCs.
Thank
And
you, sir.
probably MOOCs is very important in situation like this, like pandemic is running on. It is off and on. Sometimes we get a wave, and then again we start meeting. And globally, we are seeing wars are going on. So, in fact, in those situations, also MOOCs is very important for a non-stop teaching to occur, as well as it gives a space to the child to actually select the curriculum or the subject according to his need. A person who is into the job, he gets a opportunity to look for a a course that is needed for his particular job. Suppose he needs a business analytics knowledge, he can easily opt for a MOOCs, and he need not to enroll with any university or go ahead with that. And then see, I've been stressing upon the fact that there are certain kids who wanted to go to IITs or IIMs or wanted to be a student of Stanford, Oxford, but MOOCs has opened a new door, and which actually helps him to fulfill his wishes, where he can, actually go through the content that has been developed by the esteemed professors across the globe, and this will really help in developing a society which is really democratic, because it is no longer a situation where a person who cannot go to the university cannot learn, or any person who is not rich, he cannot go through the content which is developed by certain elite universities across the globe. Then cost effectiveness is there, and rightly pointed out by Professor Sujata, that slow learners and fast learners, they this MOOCs actually caters to the real life problem of a professor who is teaching 60 kids in an offline situation, and developing content for a slow learner or a fast learner or repeating the classes. We all know all those aspects. So it becomes quite difficult in a real life situation, but with MOOCs, it is quite possible to cater to the situation where fast learners want to go and have further knowledge, or the slow learners want to repeat the lectures again and again, go to the contents again and again. They want to assess themselves again and again. That is really possible through MOOCs, and MOOCs is here to stay, and no doubt about it. But yes, situations like this that arise in the last 2 years has actually created a value for it, and rightly said by uh, Professor Sujata that the market is huge for these MOOCs to be there. And it is a situation where all the universities actually upskill their professors, and the capacity building of the faculty is needed to in order to develop MOOCs at our own, so that we can cater to the open and distance learning also.
Thanks, Vikas sir. Thank you very much for this wonderful opening remarks. And I would like to invite Bakshi sir to share his opening remarks regarding this MOOC release, what the future advantage and how we can skill the teachers by the help of MOOCs also. Bakshi sir, over to you, sir.
Thanks. Thanks, Abhishek, for giving me this opportunity. I would like to share some of my personal experiences because we have been very actively involved in the development of MOOCs at the national level. And we have a center of e learning. And There is no doubt that MOOCs offer amazing opportunities to learners. There is no doubt. It has democratized learning process and made education possible, to the reach of millions of people. One of the reasons why MOOCs are becoming very popular is because they can help us in increasing the gross enrollment ratio in the country. If we have to achieve the target of 50% gross enrollment ratio by 2035, as stipulated by National Education Policy, it can be only through MOOCs. So that is one big thing. Second point is that they offer an amazing opportunity in the sense 4A is the philosophy of MOOCs. Anytime, anywhere, anyone, and any number of times. So that is what you have a benefit from the MOOCs. But despite, notwithstanding all this, there are many challenges in the MOOCs. Of course, the disadvantages of the MOOCs are personal touch is missing, that human touch is missing, collaborative learning is not possible. So, if we have to answer the queries of the learners who are enrolled in MOOCs, it is becoming very difficult, because if there are 10,000 students or 5,000 students enrolled in a MOOC, and if they have some queries, who will answer them? That's going to be a big question. And another challenge which is going to come is that it has been found that MOOCs generally have a very low completion rate. So that also speaks about the quality of the MOOCs. We are all talking about MOOCs, but one needs to also ensure that we need to have high quality MOOCs. Just as at present, we have more than 2,000 courses which have been hosted on SWIME platform, which is the learning management system. And there are parallel MOOC providers in the world, Coursera, Khan Academy, and etc. If you notice, some courses have become very, very popular. For example, machine learning is becoming very popular. How to learn is becoming very popular. So one has to go into the details as to what makes one MOOC very popular. It's basically the quality of e-content and how you present it. So, in India, the advantage is that MOOCs can offer big opportunities. They can solve many of the problems of higher education. Most of the MOOCs have been developed by the top professors. So it is something like the best of the country addressing the rest. Then it also helps you in realizing the dream of lifelong learning. If, for example, I am a student of chemistry, if I want to learn international relations, I can enroll in the MOOCs. So that is another aspect. And then high quality education is available to the masses. But despite all that, we need to still work on how to develop good quality MOOCs, because you need to be a good teacher, you need to be having an excellent writing skills, and also you should have been trained in instructional designing, how you present your ideas, because ultimately the quality of the MOOCs will depend upon all these factors taken together. So maybe I will talk about these things later on, but these are my initial remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bakshi sir. Thank you very much, and to highlighting the challenges of this MOOCs. And you very well said, very low completion rate is a major challenge. People enroll in the MOOC, but if you can see for a particular course, if 10,000 have enrolled, less than 1,000 people will have completed that. So we'll move on to the further discussion. So I come back to the Govind sir. I think Dr. Parag Sangvi sir has left. I just check my backend team so that he can join again. Govind sir, we have discussed regarding that MOOC is going to be here for the long term. It is overexposed during the COVID times. Right now, we are coming again to the physical mode. People are talking about the blended education, hybrid education, but people are going to be in the physical mode. That is well known to us. So, what do you see that should MOOC be encouraged in that particular level? Right now, government is also investing too much in the MOOC segment so that people get more enrollment. We can show the stats increase, but the overall ground exposure is that what the knowledge, wisdom, intelligence that the Raghuvi sir has told us is not overall achieving it through the MOOC. What's your take regarding Google sir? Are we are going to support MOOC at the particular level, or it should be there but not at to a certain extent? So Google sir, your take on this?
Okay, Abhishek, we have to look this MOOC in two respect actually. One, the
Hmm.
availability of the content on the internet, or you can say the knowledge is available on the internet. Another is the delivery, or you can talk about the pedagogy, right? These two are the separate things. We have to understand this. One,
Hmm.
unless until you have a good contents, you are not going to deliver in your classes. We have to understand this also. So MOOC is much more talking about development of the your contents, which are of the good quality, supported by, as I said, with the video also. Because at times when we go to the, let's say, 20, 30 years before, only we were using chalk and the writing board, and we were drawing the diagram for, let's say, 15 minutes if it is an engineering course or something like this. So moves helps you in a big way. One, you are able to save your time in classes, you can discuss more contents, and you can really explain the concepts to the students. So we have to look the MOOC is becoming an essential part of your teaching paradigm. You cannot live without MOOCs now. And as I said, the advantage is you can go onto the internet, you can find any kind of content on the internet. Of course, quality might be concerned, as many speakers have said. So we are in the process of development of the good contents where these we can ensure the student is going to have what he is billing, and it should be in a form of understandable, right? And as one of the speakers said, the machine learning is becoming very, very, you can say, the popular. So there is a demand of the time, because AI, machine learning, IoT, these are the okay, or disruptive technologies, and they have to survive even in the cloud computing and all these things. So this is a era, and the market is a job driven. So the courses which are pertaining to the industry are going to be popular. Another, you are rightly said, many people join the online courses, and hardly the success rate is very low. And that's why your physical mode of study is necessary, because we all are humans, and studies or the education, right, is not simple. We all have realized in our life. So I believe that's why everybody is advocating the blended mode of learning, because we all understand the psychology of our kids, and even in the youth also. And therefore the institutions have their own role to play. But if you say the institution can right substitute this, now the MOOC or the MOOC can substitute the institutions, I think we are misleading each other. So we have to strengthen this online courses. There is no doubt, because the government of India is also investing huge amount, and the madam has also highlighted, right, the some sort of history, the how the users are increasing, right, and this is true. But at the same time, I believe, I think we have to also, one question Professor Raghuveer has said, right, achieving this intelligence and wisdom might be difficult, but the technologies are on the development. And I think if we design our assignments very carefully, and if your evaluation system is also very carefully designed, I think we can achieve some part of the development of the application, development of the intelligence, application of the knowledge, and whatever the MOOCs terminology talks about, right? The learning process. So that can be achieved, right? But it will take time. Still, we are in a developing era. So I believe we have a very, you can say, the good future for these MOOCs, and we have to strengthen. There is no doubt, and we have to harness the power of MOOCs. That we have to learn. Right, many speakers are of the opinion that teachers are not still you can say convergence. This Most of these the teachers are not really well versed with the techniques, how to teach and how to use these MOOCs in the classrooms. So those kind of the training are also very, very important. And So this is
Okay,
my take. I think MOOC is to
sure.
be strengthened, and we are going to have the MOOC as part of our teaching system.
Thanks, Govil sir. Thank you very much. And Govil sir, you have raised the point regarding the content choosing. So, moving on to Sujata ma'am. I my question to you, Sujata ma'am, is directly there's a lot of content right now in the market. If you go to the internet, too much content, we are overburdened with the content. How we can choose the right content so that after the particular span of time, we should not regret that this content is not up to the mark, we have wasted that time. Second, how we can skill our faculties or skill our teachers to overcome such kind of challenges during the coming times. Sujata ma'am.
Uh, Thank you, Abhishek. So your first point is selection of MOOC. I would like to share like our practices. Since not recently, during pandemic, before pandemic, we had given our students option to take 20% of courses from online. That credit will be integrated with their total number of credits. But we were selective rather than students were selective. We had created a pool of online courses with the help of faculty members that had been offered before pandemic to the students ki these are good courses which will supplement your learning in classroom. Like this is the, like suppose I am teaching organizational behavior, one of the good course, and as Dr. Vikas said, all top quality top universities, they are giving MOOC courses through Coursera, all good professors. So this is our responsibility to identify, select which will supplement our classroom teaching. So I'm giving my personal example for OB courses. I've selected one course from Harvard, and I complemented that in my classroom teaching. So if they have any problem, I am there to solve. I think one of the our panelists, they talked about who will solve the question. This is regarding our students. But if we are offering to open masses, then this is a challenge to answer their queries. So this one is one challenge, the selection, of course. But our own student, we can guide them. Ki these are the good courses from good university, from good professors. This is one. Second point, you ask about skill of your faculty members. I think we felt, although we all transformed on 20th March 2020 on online mode, but to design the synchronous and asynchronous curriculum, this one was challenge for our faculty members. In number of faculty development programs we conducted with the help of international professors who they are used to teach in a blended mode, and we conducted, and then we are able now to design the curriculum in synchronous and asynchronous mode, means hybrid mode. Then the delivery through online and engaging student delivery is one part. And how will you engage student? Your breakout room, breakout classroom, where you can conduct certain activities. So these are still challenge, but we are trying to cope up with all the challenges with the help of certain design developmental program. But it will remain for few more years to be competent with all the skills to handle online courses.
And Sujata ma'am, don't you think that we are overburdening our faculties regarding this such kind of programs with the
Yes,
over
yes.
competition, ma'am?
No, yeah, I agree with you. But one of the panelists said okay, they have e-learning cell. We have to create that kind of one set where we can design, develop, and record. Even personally, when I was recording my lecture for SWAM, it was challenge first time. So recording, the way you deliver, the way you address, these are certain challenges. So we can't overburden our regular faculty who are teaching here, but we have to develop certain set. We have to invest. We have to invest in technology. We have to invest in faculty development, skill development everywhere.
Thanks, Sujata ma'am. Thank you for this wonderful inputs. I think audience is writing down each and every point. Coming to the Siddharth sir. Siddharth sir, first of all, my question to you is not regarding this topic. First of all, I am seeing from last 1 year regarding the attrition rate in the faculties from the universities to the private, I'm seeing much more attrition rate right now. From last years, I'm just developing the daily new records. This has been switched to this. This has been switched to this. So, what is the major cause, and how we are seeing that it is because of this COVID situation that people get more skilled people know how we can deal the situation or such kind of thing, how we are dealing such kind of situations in that, sir, and how people can you can if you have any idea what best practices can be followed to stop this attrition rate regarding the faculties and regarding the staffs. And Siddharth sir, what best practices you are following in your campuses regarding the MOOC, and what results you get from your campuses regarding the research you have done in previous you have told us in your opening discussion.
Your first point, first part of the question is regarding the attrition rate, and it is not overseen only in India but everywhere in the world, because they call it as the age of resignation, and 40% of the world's employee, they are reimagining, reorienting their jobs. So this is not only in India or education sector; it is everywhere. And
Siddhartha,
this
don't
might
you think that it is because of MOOC? Because people are getting too much of certificate. They have done so much of courses. So they are overskilled right now.
Yeah, yeah. So that is maybe, and it is about the entire changing world order due to pandemic, that people are rethinking of their job relocation, and there are so many factors around this. Of course, MOOC has one of those, of course, and the need of the industry has changed, and also, as you see, the need. Typically, if you look at the computer engineering, computer science faculty, there is a massive need in the industry. Therefore, everyone will get job in the industry, and that's where this attrition rate. Also, because of the relocation challenges, because the pandemic created those challenges with the boundaries. So people have to come to travel to other places. They would not, rather they will stay on in their native place. One of the, as you said, the second part is about the MOOCs and the best practices. And I would like to take this point, because here, who is the first order part is the faculty. Teaching faculty is the one who needs to be well trained, and they need to understand the best practices. We collaborated with Harvard Business School, and we have provided our faculty, because as my previous speaker said, it is not about the book, it is about the quality. And nowadays, all of us know that the content is so commoditized. Content is everywhere available, anywhere. What is important left is how do we deliver that content in the context of my class and their level of understanding and what is required for them. And that pedagogy is important. And that's where we have collaborated, as I said, as the faculty capacity development initiative with Harvard Business School, and provided them the courses that they have. And also we have engaged with the faculty from the Harvard Business School who mentors them. That is one part regarding the case-based education, synchronous, asynchronous part. Second is from the Singapore also. And we started this initiative called VU Digital, Vishwakarma University Digital. And as Sujata madam said, it is very important. We also invested in developing our own state-of-the-art studio, because if we have to have the quality move, we can't leave our poor faculty to their destination and say, okay, use your mobile and then you record. So we have invested in the studio, which helps, and a protocol that will help them with the teleprompter, all those stuff. Then comes about the quality of the content, and most importantly plagiarism, as well as checking this correct, because and that's where our collaborations are with foreign university as well as with IITs and institutes of higher learning, where we have created mentors for our teachers, and the mentors are from the higher learning institute who help them, and in some cases they co-teach also with them, because we have faculty members, invited faculty members, how this course is delivered, what is important, and to what extent. We have collaboration with NTU Singapore, where their faculty members have helped our teachers to develop the curriculum pedagogy and how to use technology to use as augmenting the delivery and not to replace the delivery. Correct. And that's where in the pedagogy part we are focusing on those, and that are some of the practices that are helped. Now all these things are on one side, and very importantly with MOOCs and digital part, we also have to protect our data. And that's where we have also complying with ISO 27001, which is a information management and cyber security related stuff, which creates a protocol of the data security. Correct. And the last part is also with the faculty attrition, which we see less because we treat our university as as a family. Because one part we have learned is pandemic has taught us that no matter who you are, what is your wealth, uh, you are at the mercy of the nature.
Sure.
And the only people help are
Hmm.
the family members and people around you. So that's where
Thank,
it starts with the faculty. Thank you so much.
thanks, Siddharth sir. Thank you very much for this inputs. Moving ahead, so coming to the Professor Raghuveer sir. Raghuveer sir, my question is simple to you. Is MOOC affect the admission parameters of the university? Will in future MOOC will be the deciding factor for the admissions in the university? And my second question is that what is your views on the digital university concept?
Yeah, I don't think MOOC would have any impact on uh, the admissions because this is available to everybody, and having MOOC or no MOOC in a university is not actually going to impact greatly because ultimately your admissions will depend upon the quality of your education and the graduate outcomes. If your graduate outcomes are great, you will attract. See, let's not get the MOOCs wrong. It's like you got to decide why you want to use MOOC. MOOC is not going to be all be there. Yeah, MOOC is a technology which you should use part of your delivery.
Hmm.
Decide how much and which technology you want to use. Which part of your course you want to, have it through MOOC, online, guest faculty online, etc., etc. So this is and what we call is a learning plan for individual faculty, and I think the individual faculty is the best judge. Having a combination of this always good because you know that how people learn. See, the current concentration period is not more than 10 to 12 minutes for each student. So you have to vary your delivery every 10 to 12 minutes in a an hour of a class. And if you don't vary it, people would stop listening to you if you are only delivering lecture. If you engage, involve, I think you would have a better learning. So that's one part of your question which get answered. Second part, can you come back? Second part, I forgot it.
Now, your views on the digital university concept, sir. Government is
Digital
also announcing
university
this
concept.
budget regarding the digital university. So, what's your take regarding the future of this digital university concept?
One of the objectives, you see, like I don't know much about it. One of the objectives said to be enhance GER
Hmm.
through digital because making education democratized, making available to everybody, making it available at a very low cost. Otherwise, physical education has become very, very costly over a period of time. But my question, I like to share with my colleagues which can think and or give me a better answer. Why do we enhance GR so much? Will increasing GR solve our problems? Now, what are we actually calling GER? Is it literating, having a literate population going to solve our problems? It's aren't we today giving so much of degree certificates, certificates, the way it is being distributed, how it is contributing. We want to contribute on the same path, try to have more and more unemployed graduate in the market, create the discontent in the market. Let's rethink, reimagine it the way we want to deliver. Because what digital universities would deliver ultimately is a content, democratized content available to anybody and everybody. You pass that, you get a degree, you get that certificate. And people say certificate is basically the payment made to the bills raised by educational institutions. It is not an indicator of your education. Your education gets displayed through your character, or what you do and how do you deal with the issues and people in your life. So I'm not very great fan of enhancing GER. My simple take is on, let's have technology and fit that technology into your own strategy of learning. Help the poor students to learn better so that he become useful to the society. That's my take. If you have any other question, I can.
Thanks. Thanks, Raghuveer sir, for your wonderful remarks and inputs regarding the digital university concept. Coming to Bakshi sir, I just need three present factors that contribute the growth for the massive open line courses. What do you think that three major factors that are contributing directly to the growth of this MOOC courses?
See, what are the factors which are contributing to the growth of MOOC? That is your
Yes,
question.
sir. Yes, sir. In this current scenarios, one is the COVID
I
that we
think
know
one
currently.
thing is very clear that if you look at India's present education scenario, we have about 1,000 universities and about, I think, 40 to 50,000 colleges.
True, sir.
But as Professor Raghuveer Singh said, our gross enrollment ratio is still about 27%. So out of 100 in the age group of 18 to 23, only 27 are able to get higher education. So you cannot open new universities, you cannot open new colleges, you need infrastructure. That is why, this online education is becoming more and more popular, because you can reach to the masses. For example, if there is one professor in Delhi University or JNU who develops a MOOC, and that professor in a physical mode can only teach a class of 60, 70 students, but through MOOC he can reach to thousands of the students throughout the country. So that is what the advantage is, that high quality education can be made available to the masses. That is one very good thing, which is a big advantage which is coming through MOOCs. But of late, there is a rat race for developing MOOCs and MOOCs. Everybody is thinking of developing MOOCs. That's not a good idea. That is why now people even talk about having accreditation of these online courses. Let us find out, they may allot a grade to each MOOC. Yet this MOOC is of this grade, so that people know where it stands. Just as people at one stage were publishing books and books and books, now MOOCs have started. But we have to ensure the quality. That is why this idea is coming of accreditation of these online courses. Because one should really go into the basics of how MOOCs are developed. you know the basis of a MOOC is e-content, and e-content comes from static content followed by multimedia enrichment. So a subject matter expert for any paper writes the static content, and then technical team in coordination does the multimedia enrichment, as somebody very rightly said, videos, audio, simulation, so as to make the content interesting. That is how the MOOCs are developed. So, but it is not a very easy thing. So that is why I am saying, we teachers in universities in India, they may be excellent teachers, but writing them and presenting them in a way so that you can reach to a very poor student who is not very good in the subject itself is a challenge. That is why I earlier also mentioned the quality of the MOOCs becomes very, very important. So we need to work on that front also. Besides, of course, there is a problem of digital divide, and government has started many policies where the reach of this digital content can be made available to the masses by connectivity issues and even internet speed also. Even the internet speed in India is quite low as compared to many of the leading countries of the world. I remember New York Times in 2012 celebrated the year of the MOOCs. Since that time, so much has happened, but we are little late in the development of MOOCs. We need to develop MOOCs. Even digital universities, if they are coming tomorrow, they will only be using online courses. And even at present, although there are many MOOC providers in the world, UGC allows us to get 40% of the courses in any semester through MOOCs, only those which are on SWIME platform, not on other MOOCs. Our Coursera, our Udacity, our Khan Academy, they don't recognize that. So that is also going to be a challenge. So, I think we are still a long way to go where we can develop good quality content. And basically, I would still put it that you need to be an excellent teacher, because how you develop the MOOC shows how well you present your ideas. It should be in a very systematic and logical manner. You should be able to come down to the level of the weaker student and take them along. Only then the MOOC can be successful and of high quality. That's what I feel.
Thanks, Bakshi sir. Thanks for your this wonderful remarks. So coming to Vikas sir, from last 2 years we are sitting at home. We are studying online or everything we are doing online regarding the work, studies. Now we come to the physical mode. So do you think the future is going to be the digital infrastructure, or like this physical infrastructure, like the traditional way of learning will stay, and will, or this digital infrastructure will overcome this traditional way of learning? Because can you unmute?
Am I audible? Yeah. Thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
Abhishek, for asking me this question. First of all, the benefits of MOOCs that you asked the previous speaker, I will just, pointed out 6, 7 points which are the benefits. First is the, pandemic situations or war situations. Second is the pricing. Pricing is very competitive MOOCs. Third is the time, anybody, anywhere, anytime. Fourth is any student who is shy to ask any questions in the class, he can easily opt for MOOCs, and he can easily, assess himself again and again, learn again and again. Then any person who is in corporate, he can, go through MOOCs and, enhance his skill sets. Formative assessment is the biggest advantage for slow learners and fast learners both. Then design of the curriculum is very important. Standard universities which are delivering MOOCs, which started earlier, the Massachusetts, Stanford, Oxford, the University of Sydney. If you see the content, it is really remarkable. The way they are presented to make the topic so easy. It is really not worthwhile to ask a teacher who is not having that much experience. He cannot deliver that in the class, so he can take help of that online course and deliver it in a blended format and ask the students to go through it and answer the students in the class. Then the choice of the subject is very important. New education policy stresses again and again of multidisciplinary education. Can a small institute having 40 teachers with them can they give an option of 400 subjects to a student? No, not at all. I'm very sorry. So MOOCs is the only option that is left to you, whether you agree or whether you don't agree. I put it in front of the esteemed panel. Then utility. Utility of any course is done only when it is self-driven. If say I am working in a corporate and I want to enhance my skills in a particular area, suppose like everybody was talking about AI, I'm from mechanical engineering, I want to learn AI. So do you think at this age I'll be able to sit with students in a college and learn that, that factor will always be there, that schedule will not meet. The utility of the MOOCs is too high if you recognize. Then you ask me the digital infrastructures. I'm smiling at that question why it came to me, but yes, I'm already creating digital infrastructure in my university. 22 classrooms we already had during the COVID time. 25, I am developing ultra smart classroom. Why I call ultra smart is it is no longer you are having a smart board in your classroom and you call it a digital room. It has to be developed in such a way that online, offline teaching can be done simultaneously. Like if I am delivering a class of 60 students at the time, and at the same time my one of my student is sitting in Shimla or one is connecting from Singapore, he should be able to listen to me and put a query in the same way as the student is sitting in the class. So that is the way to go in future. You have to develop a certain digital infrastructure which is equipped to take classes online, offline simultaneously. I'm not talking that it is an online class, but it should be simultaneous. If I am delivering a lecture, the same lecture can be delivered across the globe. So I normally say the globe has reduced to a city and city has reduced to a university. That is the way to go in future. And if you say that digitalization is going to impact education. See, when you develop a structure where digitally that offline online content both can be transmitted at the same time in the classroom, you can reduce the percentage of attendance that is made mandatory to the student to come to a class. Normally, I say that everybody knows that who was the son of Humayun and who was the son of Babur. Humayun happened to be son of Babur and Akbar was son of Humayun. Why you want the student to come to a class to teach this thing? So that thing can be delivered online itself. The classroom is well equipped. So the student is actually given a chance whereby he can opt for other courses also simultaneously and use his time in the fruitful way. So it is biologically proved that future generations are more smart than us. It is up to us to recognize their talent and to recognize their IQ level. The students are very much focused. I am really in touch with, as we all are in touch with the students. The normal student who is intelligent enough, he is preparing himself to get retired at the age of 45. Here in India, you touch a CEO level at the age of say 60 or maybe 55 plus. If you see the current CEOs in the industries, they are of the age of 35, 36. They are going to retire at the age of 45. So why you restrict the students to your offline campus or old school of thought and make them mandatory to come to your class where he can be an entrepreneur, he can run his own business simultaneously and using the MOOCs as well as the digital infrastructure in a university. So that is my thought on that, and
Thanks.
probably this is what I
Thanks,
want.
Dr. Vikas, sir, for this wonderful inputs. So, by this, I take the permission of all the panelists to wrap this session. And I would like to ask Deepak to share the token of appreciation to all our senior speakers from the higher education. The speaker certificate is presented to Professor Mahesh Chandra Govil, Director, National Institute of Technology, Sikkim. Thank you, Mahesh sir. Thank you
Okay,
very
thank
much for
you.
giving your precious hour to us. To Dr. Siddharth Jabade, Vice Chancellor, Viskarma University, Pune, Maharashtra. Thank you, Dr. Siddharth sir.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very
Thank
much.
you so much. Thank you so much.
To Dr. Sujata Sai ma'am, Vice Chancellor, IILM University, Gurugram, Haryana. Thank you, Sujata ma'am. Thank you very much. It's always a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to have you here.
Thank you.
Professor Raghuveer,
No,
Vice
no, no.
Chancellor, Tirantkar Mahavir University, Muradabad, Uttar Pradesh. Thank you, Raghuveer sir. Thank you very much for being the part of this panel discussion, giving your time to us. Professor Dr. A.K. Bakshi, Vice Chancellor, PDM University, Badurgarh, Haryana. Thank you, Bakshi sir. Thank you very much
Thank,
for coming to the
thank,
panel discussion.
thank you
Dr.
very much.
Parag
Thank you.
is not able to join just because of this some technical issue. Dr. Parag Sagri, thank you for very much for accepting our invitation. And Dr. Vikas Dhawan, Pro Vice Chancellor, Sri Guru Gobind Singh Tricentenary University, Gurugram, Haryana. Thank you, Vikas, sir. Thank you, Dr. Vikas, for giving your
Thank
precious
you very
time
much.
to us.
Thank you.
So, by this, I thanks all my audience to give your time to us, and thanks all my speakers to give us time to the World Education Summit. And stay tuned to us for the next panel discussion that is on the global recognition of higher education. Thank you, Sujata ma'am. Thank you, Sujata.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
my
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
Abhishek.
Thank you. Thank you very